Hey, good morning, guys. I mounted the motor today to the drill press that I had finished. Um, I replaced the 4 bolts that were in there. They were rusty. Like I had said, one of them broke off when I was removing them. So it's all adjusted. I have the belt where I want it. It's nice and taut. It's a Craftsman belt. This piece here, this little pulley piece there, that's Craftsman as well. And I'm inclined to think that the whole drill press is an older Craftsman unit. So, pretty tall. Of course, I have it all the way at the top right now, and that's adjustable. But I'll go ahead and start it up, and you can see very smooth. Smooth, quiet. This is very true. You know, there's no shimmying at all with the chuck, so I'm pleased with that. So at this point, I'm going to leave it where it's set now. The belt is relatively level. What's interesting is when you move the handle and adjust the height on the actual drill, this pulley here actually slides up and down on this piece here. So it more or less slants back and forth. But it's relatively level right now, and I think it's at its best point. So I'm going to leave it right there. So that's it. This thing is a wrap. I'm going to go ahead and move it at some point over on a different table and get it out of the harm's way. And eventually, like I said, it'll be mounted to my welding table over here. And what I wanted to show you yesterday was the dimensions on the anvil that I picked up. So I'll go ahead and measure it for you before the end of the video. But let me see if I can get the tape out. And I just kind of want to see where we're at here as far as height, how it's set up right now. So let me see if I can do this. I'm one-handed right now, so it's tricky. Yeah, from the ground, it's about 42 inches roughly, you know, to the top of the belt. Obviously that shaft sticks up higher, but right around 40 inches is the height, so it's pretty good size right now. It's not a floor model. It's meant to be mounted to a bench. So that's what I'll do, is have it on the table. So anyways, let's go over here and take a peek at that anvil. This thing, I'm still kind of blown away at it. $40. I got it from a scrapper. A guy texted me and he was like, in response to an ad that I run on Craigslist. I run an ad, and you know, basically I'm, you know, mentioned that I'm looking for tools, specifically made in USA, hand tools and certain power tools, also vices, anvils, toolboxes, etc. So he had texted me and said, "Are you still looking for an anvil, or still buying anvils?" I said, "Yes." And his next text was, "What are you looking to spend?" And you know, right, that was kind of a red flag to me. I almost thought for a second this wouldn't go through. So I responded and I said, "Well, I don't have a figure in mind, but definitely not retail price. And I'm definitely looking for a real anvil. A lot of guys have railroad track pieces that they, you know, grind down and shape up, and I wasn't looking for that. So." You know, that's what I said, and he said, "Well, I don't want to waste my time. If you could just give me a ballpark idea on what you'd pay." And I told him, "Well, it's really hard to say over the phone." He did send a picture. The picture had nothing next to the anvil to reference the size, so I told him, I said, "It comes down to size and, you know, if it's a real anvil, or, you know." So he then said, "Well, if it's $20 or $25, I'm not going to waste my time," and yada, yada, yada. And I more or less said, "Well, you know, if it's a bigger anvil, you're most likely talking at least $50, probably more. But again, it's hard to tell over the phone. I said I'll be home the rest of the night, and I have cash if you want to swing by with the anvil. I'm not looking to waste anyone's time. And he responded and said, okay, I'm going to have my coffee and I'll shoot over. He pulled up in some kind of like a Tahoe type of SUV and popped the hatch, and I saw it, and I was like, wow. I didn't say this, but, you know, I was thinking, wow, this is good sized. So I gave it the once over. It was pretty rusty, and I gave it the once over and said, well, you know, I could do $40, and he jumped right on it. He said, okay, I'm a scrapper, and I know nothing about anvils. And I said, well, I'm not too experienced and knowledgeable with anvils. I don't own one. This would be my first anvil. I know that some of them can go for big bucks, but it comes down to condition and size and stuff like that. So he took the $40, and I lifted it off the back of his Tahoe, and you know, blown away at the weight of it. You know, it shocked me. I knew it was going to be heavy, but this was something else. So, anyways, that was that. I told him to save my number, and that if he comes across any other anvils, machinery, vices, anything of that nature, to definitely shoot me a text. You know, scrappers, they just get quick cash, and they don't typically sell individual items, like, you know, they just dump stuff off. I don't know what he would have got for scrap for this. I don't know if he found it at a scrap here. I really don't know the situation, but I know he could have got more than $40. I feel like he could have got the $40 from a pawn shop, to be honest. You know, that's a really good price on an anvil of this size. But let me pull out this tape and show you a little measurement here of the piece. All right, so from the far side there, coming unhooked. Pardon me, I worked all night, so I'm a little, you know, wound up. Okay, so we got 19 1/8 roughly from the far end to the tip of the horn. So let's do some more measuring here. The rectangular platform is 11 and about 4 1/4, 11 by 4 1/4. The horn is 8 inches, so possibly the overall length is 19 even, but it kind of looked like 19 1/4 to me. So, but yeah, so there's that. And as far as height goes, say about 8 3/4, you know. So it's a fairly good size anvil. It's nice. I don't know how I'm going to do it as far as the mounting procedure. I've seen people take tree trunks or tree stumps and kind of rope it off there. I'm thinking that it's going to have its own base. I don't think I'm going to mount it to the welding table. I think I'm going to fabricate or find some kind of really heavy-duty stand. Definitely something that's super heavy and that won't tip over. Something kind of wide and short. Not so much short, but wide and that won't tip over. And what I'll do is, if it's wood, I'll probably thread in some lag bolts or something to that effect, or some eyelets, something big, and then do some heavy duty rope and just, you know, tie it off in typical fashion. But we'll see, you know. But this is a good anvil. It's old. It does have some stamping on either side. It looks like it almost looks like 0322 on this side, and, you know, there's some stamping on the other side. There's no distinguishable actual lettering. It's all numbers, but I can tell it's old. Obviously, it's a real anvil. It's been used. It's definitely had a long life. You know, I'd probably say it's got to be 100 years old or better. You know, so that's where we're at. Otherwise, so we got the I got 4 vices, they're just sitting here collecting dust. I've gone over these before, but I got to kind of make some room for these guys here. I got these 4. I got the Chase Morgan vise over there that I use. And inside I got a Columbian C43 vise that I fixed up. This is the only one that I use, and it's pretty good as far as the positioning of it. The hammer rack that I have here is in the way, but this whole piece is going bye-bye. It's an old desk, really old solid desk, and I'm going to get rid of that and rearrange the garage because, you know, space is an issue. This side here is just kind of left open for the car, and this other side is just loaded up, and, you know, I got a ton of stuff. So, you know, like, I got to make room for this cabinet here I just snagged. So, you know, like I was saying, there's a badge here. If I can get it to focus, you probably won't be able to read it. Oh, maybe you can. See that there? Turn it. Property of Defense Plant Corporation. And it says an instrumentality of the United States government. And then there's some numbers. So I did a little Googling, and the Defense Corporation is somehow attached with World War II in some fashion. There's some lettering here, and it looks like it says Plan Corps 2108, and that's, you know, that's kind of like the name of the piece, Plan Corps, and then it says something about the Defense Corporation or whatever. So yeah, it was some kind of governmental piece. There was a badge here, it's gone. I think what I'm going to do eventually is put this badge right here, okay? Throw a couple tacks there, grind them smooth. I'm going to strip this down and primer and paint it. Definitely going to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and clean out the whole thing down to bare metal, get rid of the rust. Straighten the panels a little bit. There's a little bit of warpage in the door and a little ding there. So I'll take care of that stuff. So that's to come. But yeah, I'm rotating some stuff in the garage. I'm getting rid of that desk. So that's the game plan. Up next is this drill press. I haven't done much with it. I took the wheel off and I tack welded a couple little spots where the wheel was damaged. No cracks or anything, just kind of dents, and so I got to smooth all that out. But you know, I haven't done much. I'm gonna take it apart to some extent. I don't know how far I'm gonna be able to go, but this whole piece will slide up and down and come out. When I saw it run, I knew before I bought it, but there's some wobbling here with this piece in particular, and like I said, I totally was aware of it. And I think the issue is from here down. I think everything else, that shaft, I think that's all somewhat true. So I'm going to separate this piece and look into replacing this section, and I'll utilize the chuck. It looks like there was some welding there, and the guy kind of like pieced it together, but it's obviously not straight or true. So I'll take the chuck off. I'll take this whole piece off, and if I can clean that up and fix it, I will. If not, I'll replace it and throw something new in there. Otherwise, it's decent. There's no other fabrication that has to happen. It's just a matter of cosmetic cleanup. So I'll grind smooth the welds up here on the wheel, wire wheel the whole piece, make sure it runs pretty smooth. It's got a belt. It has a old GE motor that, you know, so it's all there. It doesn't have a shelf. So the guy had like a big wooden, like I said in the other video, he had a big wooden kind of structure that this was mounted to, and there was a wooden shelf that came out. So I'm not crazy about the idea of the wood, so I left that whole piece behind. But I think that if anything, I'll have a steel shelf incorporated. I don't know how I'm going to do it yet. I might just, it might be as simple as making some kind of just rectangular or square platform and then positioning that or bolting that down in place underneath it when it gets mounted to the table. But that's it. So this one is probably the coolest of the 3 older drill presses I have, of my 5 drill presses. Hill Clark and Company Incorporated, Machine Tools, Boston, New York, Philadelphia, and Chicago. And of course, there's nothing online at all about any of this. This piece cannot be found online. The seller was, he was renting the house that this was in. He wasn't the original owner. The original owner used it. I assume he was, he passed away. And the basement was kind of just filled up with tools. And I went down there and I was like, wow, is this stuff for sale? And he's like, everything's for sale, sir. So I took it from there. You know, I got the 3 motors, that bench grinder, the drill press over there. I got that old King tap and die set also. And then the Colombian carpenter's vise, which I sold. I bought the whole lot, including the drill press, for, what was it, $120. Yep, $120. I sold the Colombian carpenter's vise for $125, so I made the money back and $5 for the vise that I would never have used. I liked the vise. I almost regret selling it, but if I make a purchase that's, you know, significant, and I think $120 is somewhat significant, if I can make my money back and recoup my investment, I usually do. But definitely not if it's something I can keep and use. So, but yeah, I wasn't going to use the vise. Had to get rid of it. So, yeah. Anyways, so that's the game plan. I got the next 2 nights off, so I'm going to be out here doing some stuff. Trying to think if there's anything else. I still haven't got a chance to go out and get a camera. I do plan on picking up a camera so I can have better videos. I mean, this is the best I can do. It's my cell phone. But I promise that down the road I'll have better quality videos. I know this might be a little rough to watch, but trying to find my... Oh, here it is. Yeah, I picked up this Targus tripod for $1 at one of the dollar stores here in Syracuse. It's called the Real Deals Dollar Store. And they have good stuff. And, you know, so this was $1. And they had a pallet of these. And there is light damage on just about everyone in the pallet. The issue with this one, if I could find it, is this right here. The plastic pieces are snapped off. This still could be turned. And it's totally functional, so it, you know, it's a cosmetic thing. So I can raise this up by hand. There was like a little kind of handle that spun. Cheap. The whole thing is cheap plastic. I mean, if they had an entire pallet of these and they were $1 a piece. So I don't know if it's either Walmart or Best Buy based on the stickers that were on the packaging. But, you know, this was probably $30, $40 tripod. And, you know, they just... engineering fails and terrible quality, and the stuff just kind of didn't hold up. So I snagged it for $1, and I'll be using it in my videos somehow. I don't know how I'm going to mount the the camera might not be too big of an issue to mount. I know the phone, there's not really any feasible way to put it up there, but not that it would help much. But yeah, in the future, I'm going to try to designate a clean area on one of the benches and kind of have the tripod with the camera set up, stabilized, and, you know, better quality. And that's the game plan. I don't know when I'm going to get the camera, you know, bills and stuff. I have some money saved up, but I'm actually looking to purchase a pickup truck as a second vehicle. So you know, I have a Honda Accord right now, and it's rough sometimes if I find a big piece. The seats fold down and whatnot, but if I can get a pickup truck, life will just be a lot easier. So, anyways, I've shown these before, but these are my other drill presses. There's a Delta, I think it's a 10-inch one. It's a General Electric motor the guy replaced. It's a bigger motor than what came on the unit. I use these two drill presses quite a bit. The smaller Duracraft one I tend to use with smaller drill bits, and I also throw the wire brushes on there sometimes and go to town with them. And then the bigger stuff I use the Delta for. But yeah, they're cheap. I bought them. I think I paid $30 for the Duracraft, and the Delta was with a tool lot. I bought that metal welding table for $30, and then, you know, I was hanging out with a guy and he was showing me a bunch of stuff. I picked up this Delta drill press and a Duracraft bench grinder that crapped the bed, and what else? Some other pieces. It was like, I think it was $40 I paid altogether for this and that. Oh, right. It was a Colombian vise. So I got a bigger Colombian vise. I still have it, as a matter of fact. It's over there in that pile. But I had the Colombian vise, the drill press, the bench grinder, and it was like $40. And he actually threw in 2 pipe vices. This red Jewel one, which is decent. I think it's made in USA. So he threw in that pipe vise, and he threw in the Rigid BC10 that I've shown several times. This is in transition here. I've started welding these bolts on that are used for bending pipe. So I'm welding the big washers on the bolts. I'm going to smooth all that out, leave those bare, and I'm going to paint the unit itself red. And then, you know, the resting jaws there. But yeah, he threw this in with it, and this thing is like $400, $500 if you go online and check it out. BC 810. So, anyways, I'm not gonna bore you to death. I could talk all day. I'm just babbling. I'm tired. So, I'm gonna pretty much wrap it up here. That's all that's going on. This thing is done. I'm gonna move it off the table. I'm gonna work on this. And other than that, I have this sander, this disc sander unit that I've shown. It's all taken apart, but that's got to get cleaned up and repainted. And then I got a little bucket of tools here that are going to get cleaned up. And, you know, when I get time, I'm trying to prioritize. I don't have a ton of time. So, but that's it. I'll end it here. I appreciate you guys watching. Sincerely, I really do. Just excuse the quality. You know, my videos are terrible quality, but I definitely get a lot of tools and cool stuff. So hopefully that kind of makes up for it. So until next time, appreciate it. Have a great day.